So good morning, everyone, or evening, depending where you're at. Meeting number 24. So first item on the agenda, I'll post the agenda in the chat just for reference, but first item on the agenda is the Cat Herders and ETH Magicians collaboration. We have Annette on the call from ETH Magicians. Yeah, take it away.
From last call, there has nothing new changed, but magicians are still looking for ways how we can collaborate together. I don't think so that right now there is like much need of a collaboration, of next collaboration, but definitely we are looking for collaborating in the future with you guys. But right now there are no opportunities for this to do so. But thank you so much, everyone who helped and who attended the call that happened on Wednesday. I appreciate that each every one of you that has been on the call and that helped out with that.
Thank you for organizing that.
Annette, you put together a document in the last meeting, and I think we ran through the first part of it. There's quite a few things that were outstanding, or at least that we could have spoken about in the second part. Do you want to talk to that at all in this meeting?
Sure, I can share the document. I hope that, wait, let me share that with you. Yeah, there is the document that I was talking about last time. I hope that it's the one that we've been talking about. And I actually don't see that there is much from what happened last time. I actually haven't found any other document that we had, or the one that we used last time on last call, but this is the only one that I found actually for this call.
And that's it. Okay.
That's pretty much it. Everything that I have for this call. I'm so sorry. I haven't seen anything other, and I just don't want to waste your time, guys, with talking about the things. But I think that there were so many things from the last call that were outstanding. There were about Istanbul, Hartford. It already happened, that call, and that's pretty much it, I guess. I mean, if there are some outstanding things, I will definitely add them to PM for the next call, but right now I don't see anything changing from last time.
So maybe one thing that could be worth pushing forward is like the idea around fundraising. I know we discussed this at DevCon and it came back up, that do like some joint fundraising for the Cat Herders and for ETH Magicians. It feels like it's something that's like hard to do on these calls, obviously, because you need to like brainstorm and actually do the work to get it done. But maybe if people are interested in that, like, I don't know, is it like a working group is maybe not the right term, but like if a couple people are interested in like helping with setting up fundraising efforts for like the Cat Herders and ETH Magicians, it feels like something that could happen offline and be really valuable.
I mean, definitely we are looking for ways how to support that and how to work on the fundraising, because that's the thing that we've been looking into with Jamie lately. But Jamie, we're traveling so much lately, so I haven't got much time to sync with him to talk about like next steps with funding. But Jamie started a thread on Magicians Forum that I just posted a link to chat, and he started the thing about quadratic funding and identity. So I don't know. I'm going to have a call with him after this call, so I will talk to him later about that. But definitely, we are looking forward if there are somebody who are willing to help or would like to help us with fundraising campaign, or like who to ask for fundraising. And yeah. But we have actually some spreadsheet that I can share with you guys as well of like who we are looking forward to ask for fundraising. So there is the link for that spreadsheet. Feel free to add any comments to that as well. But that's it from my side, I guess. Thank you, Tim.
Of course. Thanks, Annette. Any
Yeah.
other comments? Oh, go ahead.
No, just going back to the fundraising thing. Obviously, the last time the cat herders did any fundraising was early this year. So we're probably coming around to the next round of fundraising for ourselves in terms of going through Gitcoin and perhaps Bounty and so on and promoting that. So I do think it'd probably be worth having a sit down. So if we can have an action item or something like that, just to, as you say, get together and brainstorm some ideas with the magicians, I think it'd be a brilliant idea. And those people that want to collaborate in that, probably just drop a note in the Getter channel, and we'll take it from there.
Yeah, sure, I'm down to that, but actually I'm only in Cat Holders community channel on Gitter, so if somebody is willing to add me to that internal channel, if you guys have that.
I think we might create a fundraising group. Yeah.
Okay, or create one. I think that we actually have one on Telegram with
perfect.
Tim, Hudson, and Jamie, and the people that attended the DevCon
Awesome.
fundraising meeting. So I can add you guys. If you ping me on Telegram, please. Thank you.
Okay.
Cool.
But thank you for initiative to connecting our fundraising, like holders and magicians that can fundraise together a little bit, or just connect those both initiatives together. Appreciate that. Thank you, Brent.
I would love to be a part of that. I'm trying to help out the marketing DAO team as well with the fundraising. So probably I would like to add some input over there. I mean, like, please add me too. And yeah, we'll be having brainstorm on how we can take it to the funders. We'll create some kind of deck or something, and we can take it to funder. I mean, that's the generic idea, I think.
Awesome. Next agenda item was hard fork coordination update, and we have our hard fork coordinator on the call. James, you want to give a quick update? Oh, if you're still there.
Sorry, I was on mute, obviously, unfortunately.
No worries.
It happened, and I'd actually be interested in hearing thoughts from the group as far as how coordination went. I wasn't as active with Istanbul, and I want to make sure that I understand. As I said earlier, this is somehow my first time being on the Cat Herders call. And part of what I'd like to understand is where you guys see this initiative in conjunction with the hard fork coordination process. Maybe that's a bigger update and should go on like its own agenda item. Overall, the Istanbul hard fork is deployed, and I haven't heard anything other than that. I guess it's gone well.
Yeah, the last update we had was like it's over 97% nodes. And around 97% nodes are upgraded now. But the thing was like it did not happen at the time of fork. So I mean, like it would be nice to have it just before the fork. This big figures. At the time we were like around 50% or less than that. So we can start coordinating a little early. Probably that would help to see these figures. I mean, in my mind, it is great to have a more number of nodes upgraded.
I think you're spot on, Pooja. I mean, certainly for ourselves, James, when we were trying to push that number up, we did have, I guess, discussion around trying to coordinate to get in touch with the various mining pools and exchanges and I guess, various stakeholders within the ecosystem. And one of the things that obviously we were very aware of was just the lateness in the number of people swapping over to the new client. And that obviously was a concern running up into the fork. We would have liked to have started reaching out a little earlier. I guess for ourselves, we also held back a little bit because we weren't sure if Muir Glacier was going to be included in the fork or not. And obviously it was now a separate fork that's going to be happening in January. But certainly for that, we've been trying to engage with the stakeholders and find the best contacts for them. Because I think a lot of the contacts that we had previously are no longer valid, or they've gone from being personal contacts to being more professional contacts as their organization has grown. And so we've been trying to collate information around that. I guess working with yourselves and yourself specifically, James, going forward, I think that process could improve a little more as we go into the next forks, because we're very keen to, obviously, as the cat herders, to try and promote these forks sooner rather than later with most people, basically so that we don't look like we're chasing our tails towards the end.
One thing I found specifically challenging was getting a hold of stakeholders, like as you were saying, more community ones, and something I'd like to do moving forward is kind of tighten the loop between communication channels as far as when something's decided, how being able to get that information more quickly to the people that need to know it or want to know it.
And I think on that note, one super important thing is Muir Glacier is happening like really soon. And I know on the cat herders, we already have a blog post drafted. But it feels like, you know, after the core devs call on Friday, things should be pretty much set for the fork, unless there's like some major unexpected thing. And we should probably try and aim, you know, to push out like the cat herders blog post on Friday, right after the call. And then as well as like just starting to reach out to stakeholders. Because it feels like, yeah, the next upgrade is like everything we've done so far, but kind of on a hard mode.
Absolutely agreed, 100%, Tom.
Yeah, agreed. So I just shared the link of the draft that Muir Glacier post cat herders are working on. Feel free to add anything to it. And there are some questions open, as Tim mentioned, that we might be getting more clarity after this Friday call. Like I have added a section about testnet update. I'm not sure if we have any kind of information. I believe that, I mean, I think Gorley would not be doing this kind of update for testnet. And
the only testnet that does it, I think, is Ropsten. So
Yeah,
the one you
that's
have
true.
there is the only one.
Okay, Ringby, Coven, and Gorley, all three are out, correct?
Yes. So it's probably worth stating that explicitly.
Yes.
Like not just not having them, but yeah, it's only Ropsten which will fork.
Right, and we do not have any estimation of date, or do we?
We do. It's the first week of January.
No, it's
For Ropsten as well?
No,
Oh, for Ropsten, I don't know.
Okay, so that may be one thing that we would want to know from the core developers. Maybe in
I can get that date for Ropsten. I'll ask my team.
Okay, sure. Yeah, so yeah, after Friday meeting, if we get some further update, we would add it over here, and it should be good to send it out, because as early as we push it out, would be easier to spread the word around.
Is there a place we have, so all the contacts that we reached out to for Istanbul, is there a place we've collected that so we can do that again? Or is that something we should be looking at doing?
Absolutely, James. We've got a spreadsheet that we have within the cat herders that I can share with you, that has the most up-to-date contact list that we're aware of. Obviously, you might have better contacts, which would obviously help improve that list. But yes, we can share that with you, James.
Yeah, please do.
Okay, anything else on hard fork coordination? Okay, so the next agenda item was the EIP-IP, the EAPS improvement process. Hudson said he doesn't have much of an update. Does anyone else have anything they want to share on this?
Not sure if this is the right time to mention it, but I've started to contact some of the older EAPS owners. Like, for example, I contacted the owner of EIP3, Martin Holswend, the EIP3's edition of call depth opcode, and he says, yeah, he thinks that should be abandoned. So anyway, I'm going to put out a post to the EIP Gitter threads saying, is anyone else interested or not want this to be moved to abandon? But anyway, I'm pushing towards that and stuff like that. So that's one down. That'll be one down and a couple hundred more to go. So.
That's pretty cool. I think you can probably almost submit a PR to it directly. And if people have an objection, they can object on the PR. And you're going to need Martin's +1 on the PR, obviously, to close it. But I think, yeah, you might speed up the process a little bit if, like, once you get the EAP champions, like, thumbs up, just submit a PR to change it. You know, it's like a one-word change to, like, abandon.
Got it. Yep. Yeah, that was sort of my next question is, what's the process? And you just answered that question, so thank you.
Yeah, I'm not sure what the exact term is, but like I would just submit like a one-line PR, change the status, post it on the EAPS Gitter, and if people have an objection, they can object on the PR directly, and they can always rechange the status, right? Like if somebody really cares about EIP3, they can like champion it or create a new EAP that just extends it.
And I plan on monitoring that stuff so we can keep track of who's. But anyway, yeah.
From discussions,
go ahead.
From discussions before with the EIP editors, anything older than 6 months is pretty much that hasn't had anything happen to it is fair to be considered inactive, and that's something we worked on doing like 9 months ago, but then didn't have any movement on actually making that.
Okay, that really helps to know. That's the kind of stuff I'm wondering about. The next two is 86 and 101. Both are Vitalik, so I'm going to send a message to him. 86 is abstraction of transaction origin and signature, and the other one's Serenity currency and crypto abstraction. Does anyone know anything about those two, or would those fall in the ready to be abandoned since they're so old?
Can you send me those and I'll look at them, and then I want to actually read and look at them before I respond, but I can help with that.
86. Okay, let me show you the link. Sorry. Where'd this go? Okay, yeah. Here's the length of all of them, and they're the top three. Or the top. They're the second and third. EIPs in that list there that are both the authors are Vitalik Buterin for both of those, but yeah, if you could review those and then let me know your take on if there's any information that says I shouldn't contact Vitalik and ask him if he wants to abandon those, let me know for sure.
Cool. Any other updates on this? Okay, next one was migrating your DAI to Psi. I know Charles had been kind of spearheading this. He's not on the call. Does anybody else have an update on this?
No update. Other than, as I guess what we mentioned last meeting, sooner the better. If there's any Psi availability, do it.
Cool. Yeah, I'll follow up with Charles. Yeah, so he can create kind of the initial transaction, because especially if we're converted, I guess we'll probably do this like in 2 steps, like not convert everything in one shot, just because the UX for the multi-sig is pretty bad. So if we can get it right once, then it's easier to do right the second time again. So I can follow up with him on that, and we can like have a Zoom call where he walks me through it. because he works for Maker and he's pretty familiar with the process. Next one was discuss and close the ECH GitHub issues /PR. If I look at the issues now, there's like the staking one. I think I pinged Lane on this. Oh, he said he would create a multi-sig transaction. He didn't. I'll give him another ping. Then what else do we have? The champion wanted for E689. I feel like we can probably close this. Unless
was that for Istanbul or it's for?
No, it's like an old ETH that was by Yoichi and he left Ethereum. So I guess it seems like oh, and James, actually you commented and you said this is actually already implemented.
Yes, I think I may actually have done this in March or something, or was because the back discussion for this is Yoichi was very much a yellow paper person, and certain things weren't updated. Things were updated in a way that it wasn't also updated in the yellow paper, and that all needed to kind of be in resolution. But this has actually been implemented, as far as I remember correctly.
Cool. So I'll close this. People are free to reopen it if they feel strongly that this wasn't the right thing. What else do we have? So we have two other ones. So the impact of uncle rates on JIT. This seems like kind of like just like some technical thing from the core devs meeting in Berlin from EIP 615, which was abandoned. I would probably close this. Like, it doesn't seem like there's a clear action.
Yeah, I would close that too.
Yeah.
Any movement on 615 is going to be broken into smaller parts and possibly spearheaded by ETC, so it won't come in this form anyway. Yeah.
Okay, cool. And then there's this other one around documenting the cat herders process, which is the PR and the last issue. Luke said he was still interested in doing this, but just like short on time right now. So I think we can just leave it open unless anyone has an issue with that. Okay, so we're down to like 2 issues, which is not too bad. Next thing was removing inactive people from the private chat. We probably should do that. Does anyone disagree?
I think we agreed. Hudson was just going to put together a list, which I don't believe he's done yet.
Okay, so let's just have an action item for Hudson to do the list. Discussing the PR to ethereum.org about the cat herders page. There's no link, and I saw this like evolved from like a PR to like a Dropbox paper document now. Does anyone have an update on that? I haven't been following it super closely.
Unfortunately, Charles and William are not in on the call, so we don't have information on that.
Okay, so yeah, let's leave that there. And then the cat herders website update. Anyone have an update there?
We were going to talk about the potential of putting this out to market, having a bounty or something like that to manage when the ECH website needs to be updated and what should be paid and so on. I mean, the reality is, in terms of payment and so on, I guess it depends on how much work needs to be done. If it's simply changing the hard fork from Istanbul to Mira Glacier or Mira Glacier to Berlin, I suspect there's not a lot to be paid, if anything. One of us could probably do it.
Do we know who's got access to it at the moment? Because yeah, I was going to ask. Because at the moment, it just looks like it just needs the hard fork update.
Yeah, correct. Hugo was the last person to update it, along with Charles. I know Hugo is unable to help the cat herders at present because his day job is ramping up a bit. I can reach out to him though, and just get some help to update it.
Yeah, or I mean, if we can get the login or something, then you know, I'm happy to kind of help you with that and update it.
Super.
Great. Anything else on the website? Okay, and then we had a whole lot of action items. I'll go over them. Please bear with me, and hopefully we can trim this list down. Working group to be formed to work on the All Core Devs newsletter initiative. Does anyone have an update on that? Okay, if no one does, I think we should maybe leave it there for like the next call, but then like if people still don't have updates, remove it after the next call. Cat herders to communicate for Istanbul hard fork. We did that. Hudson to schedule the first EIP-IP meeting. Hasn't done it, so we can leave it there. Create an EIP-IP Telegram group. I think Hudson did that. Not sure. Maybe we can just ask him. Does anyone know? Okay, let's just ask Hudson. ECH to consider what percentage of amount to put in a DAI savings contract, and Charles was going to write a proposal up for that, so let's leave those two there. ECH to review issue 66 to decide if it should be closed. We just closed it. Hudson to create a list to remove people from Telegram. We're still waiting on that. Hudson to add James Hancock. That's done. James is on this call. ECH to review the community page. Okay, so yeah, this is the ethereum.org page. It was linked here. I just posted it in the chat. So I think we should probably leave that there because there's still a lot of discussion going on that page. ECH website to be updated. So we just discussed that. To look into the funding of updating and maintaining the ECH website. I guess, Helena, after you look at the website, maybe you can give us an update on this, if you know it's trivial enough that no funding is needed, or if it's actually quite big and we should consider bounties. Does that make sense?
Sure, yeah.
Cool. ECH multisig to finalize the payments. I think we did all the payments. If anybody is like waiting on a payment for anything from the Cat Herders multisig, ping me. But I'm 99% sure we sent out all the payments. ECH multisig to refund the ProgPow funds to Bitfly. We did that already. Hudson to confirm the wording from Bitfly for the ProgPow post. I don't think he's done that, so we can leave it there. And Tim to submit proposal for the ETC workshop. I've done that. I haven't heard back from ETC yet about the workshop. So that was quite the list. Sorry for whoever's taking notes on this. And that's pretty much it through our agenda. Last point is any other business. So is there anything else anyone wants to discuss?
Tim, I remember a document you shared sometimes back about you know, the payments that you are doing for ProgPow, and
Yes.
we were thinking of sharing that. So I mean, if you think that it is the right time.
So I don't think we'll ever, so the document Pooja just mentioned is this. I just posted it in the chat. I'm not sure we want to share this publicly because it has like everybody's info and their addresses. Not that like none of this information is public. Like I got it all from the ProgPow audit page, but it's, I don't know. I feel a bit icky kind of sharing that, like each person and how much we sent them. But we have a blog post.
Yeah, actually, I'm talking about the blog post, not this document.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, and the blog post, Hudson just wanted to get a confirmation about like the wording from like the EF and like basically the big companies involved. Here's the draft of the blog post. So we're basically just waiting on Hudson to ping those organizations and make sure that they're okay with the way it's worded, because it was kind of awkward where like Bitfly is gonna like Atlantic Crypto and the EF just like left their funds with the cat herders, which was really nice. And Atlantic Crypto helped refund the individuals who contributed to the audit, but then Bitfly is going to be donating to Gitcoin grants with their refund. So it was kind of awkward to try and like phrase all of this and have it be coherent. So we just want to make sure they're all okay with how it's worded. Yeah, so that's the only bit that's missing, but otherwise that's pretty much the update we can give.
Yeah, that sounds reasonable. Yeah. I was just curious, like, if we are planning to post that or not.
Yeah. As soon as like, I guess the EF is already okay with it, but I think it's mostly just Bitfly that we need to confirm that they're okay with the wording, because they kind of had the weirdest situation with their refund, and we just want to make sure that, like, you know, they're happy with how we've explained things.
One more thing I wanted to share here, like, last time I get to know that it was discussed maybe in DEF CON, like we should keep rotating on sharing information. So Charles opted to write the newsletter. So I wanted to check if anybody else is interested in sharing the ECH update for next week or maybe any other week. So they can let me know, and yeah, we can take turns if we would want to. Like, if anybody's interested in sharing that, just let me know.
I would be happy to help, but I'd kind of need to know in advance. Like, I probably couldn't pick up like this week's, but if we had like a spreadsheet or something, and I knew, like, you know, a couple weeks in advance that I'm doing it, yeah, I would be happy to take one from time to time.
Yeah, I'm happy to help too as well, Pooja.
Okay, in that case, I'm going to create a spreadsheet, because this was the first time when Charles did. Earlier, I was doing it. So I'll then create a spreadsheet and we'll, you know, date who is going to take one. So that would be easier for us. Anybody else, if interested, please let me know, and I'll add them to the spreadsheet.
Cool. Anything else anyone wants to discuss? Okay, then, yeah, thanks everybody. Yeah, this was a really good call.
Yeah, I thought went through a lot of items fast. Thanks.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thanks, Tim, for moderating.
Thanks very much.
Yeah, and happy
Thank you,
holidays to you all.
Yeah, also, when
yeah.
the next call will be happen?
Oh yeah, so I think the next call literally falls on Christmas Eve.
Yeah.
We
Yeah.
should not do that. So maybe like,
yeah.
maybe we can just do 4 weeks from now, because yeah, it's Christmas.
Yeah, 4 weeks.
Then
One
New
after.
Year's.
And then it's Christmas Eve and then New Year's Day, and then
Yeah.
Okay,
let's
so
push
let's
it
do
to
the 7th at the same time. Does that make sense?
Yeah,
Perfect.
and I'll delete the ones in between as well, so that it's not clogging our calendar.
Cool.
Yeah, cool, awesome. Thank you, guys.
Bye.
It was awesome. Thank you, Tim, for moderating that. Thank you guys for inviting me over.
Yeah, you're welcome to come anytime.
Also, I created the group chat. Feel free to add anyone. Tim and Pooja are in, and Hudson is in that fundraising group as well. I don't have other people on Telegram, so feel free to ping me or ping Tim or ping Pooja to add you guys to the fundraising group, Telegram group. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Goodbye.
Bye.